In 2024, a music journalist was relaxing to her favorite ambient playlist when she noticed something impossible. The artist playing didn't exist. Not just hard to find, online, completely non-existent. No social media, no concert history, no trace anywhere outside of Spotify. Yet this ghost was earning millions of streams on one of the platform's most popular playlists. What she discovered next would expose the music industry's darkest secret. Your favorite playlists are filled with fake musicians controlled by just 20 real songwriters stealing from genuine artists. For 7 years, the company that claimed to save music from piracy had been running the biggest fraud in streaming history. Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, built his billion-dollar empire on a lie. While real musicians earned pennies, Spotify flooded its platform with artificial content, designed to cut costs and maximize profits. This is the story of how they almost got away with it. Before we start, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We have more fascinating videos coming soon. The journalist was Liz Pelly, and what started as relaxation time became the investigation of her career. As someone who had covered the music industry for years, she recognized when something didn't add up. She began documenting everything she found. Deep Focus had 4.5 million subscribers, but the musicians dominating it existed nowhere else on the internet. Their names were generic, their photos looked like stock images, and none had ever performed live or released music anywhere else. The deeper Pelly investigated, the stranger it became. Anonymous Spotify employees started reaching out with insider information. They described a program they called morally questionable that was flooding playlists with cheap manufactured content. Emma Chen, a real ambient producer, had noticed the same thing from artists' perspective. I realized I was competing against fake artists that Spotify was promoting instead of real musicians, she told Pelly. Chen's professionally recorded albums were being buried beneath these mysterious tracks. Her streams plummeted as artificial content took over the playlists where she used to thrive. When Pelly contacted Spotify for comment about these ghost artists, they refused to respond. Their silence confirmed what she had begun to suspect. This wasn't an accident or oversight. Behind Spotify's deception sat a man who once promised to save musicians from the very thing he would become. Daniel Ek founded Spotify in 2008 with a noble mission that would make him a hero to struggling artists everywhere. Back then, music piracy was destroying the industry. Artists were losing billions as fans downloaded their work for free. Ek positioned himself as their savior, promising a platform that would compete with piracy while ensuring musicians got paid fairly. You can never legislate away from piracy, Ek declared in those early days. The only way to solve the problem was to create a service that was better than piracy and at the same time compensates the music industry. Artists believed him. Record labels trusted him. The entire music industry rallied behind his vision of a fair, sustainable future. But somewhere between those idealistic beginnings and his current net worth of $9.2 billion, Daniel Ek changed. The man who promised to champion artists became their biggest threat. In 2010, just 2 years after launching, Ek secretly started what would become known as Perfect Fit Content. While publicly speaking about supporting musicians, he was quietly building a system designed to replace them with cheaper alternatives. The transformation was complete by 2024 when Ek made a statement that exposed his true feelings about the artists who had built his empire. The content costs close to zero, he posted on social media, dismissing his life's work of millions of musicians as worthless. This was a betrayal of everything Spotify claimed to represent. The savior had become the destroyer, using his platform's power to systematically eliminate the very people he had promised to protect. By 2017, Ek's secret program had evolved into something massive and sophisticated. Perfect Fit Content wasn't just replacing a few tracks here and there. The program had grown into a ghost factory with approximately 20 real songwriters controlling over 500 fake artist identities across Spotify's most popular playlists. The operation targeted the platform's biggest moneymakers. Deep Focus, with its 4.5 million subscribers, became almost entirely populated by artificial musicians. The same transformation happened to ambient relaxation and cocktail jazz, where non-existent performers with generic names and AI-generated photos dominated the listings. Every ghost artist was strategically placed on high-traffic mood playlists, where millions of users would encounter them during work, study, or relaxation sessions. The content was designed to be pleasant but unremarkable, perfect background music that listeners wouldn't question or investigate. The ghost artists had everything real musicians lacked on the platform: prime playlist placement, consistent promotion through Spotify's recommendation algorithms, and protection from the complex royalty structures that kept legitimate artists struggling for pennies per stream. Real musicians found themselves competing against unlimited fake content optimized specifically for streaming success. While artists like Emma Chen fought for visibility with professionally recorded albums, ghost tracks flooded the same categories with content created quickly and cheaply by the same small group of producers. The system was ruthlessly efficient. Instead of paying traditional royalties to hundreds of different artists, publishers, and record labels, Spotify could funnel streams to content they essentially controlled. Every play of a ghost track meant more money staying within their ecosystem rather than flowing out to independent creators. Understanding the ghost factory scale was one thing, but the financial mechanics revealed something far worse. This was more than just content manipulation. It was organized theft designed to steal millions from working musicians. Here's how the heist worked. Real artists earned as little as $0.003 per stream, meaning they need over 300 plays just to earn a single dollar. These microscopic payments get split between the artists, the labels, publishers, and anyone else with rights to the song. But ghost artists have no such complications. When a fake track gets streamed, there are no complex royalty splits, no publisher fees, no label cuts. The money flows directly into Spotify's ecosystem with minimal external payments. Spotify also created additional schemes that forced real artists to pay them for basic exposure. Their Discovery Mode program required artists to sacrifice 30% of their royalties just to get playlist placement, the same playlist being filled with free ghost content. The twisted logic was crazy. Real musicians had to pay Spotify a 30% cut for the privilege of competing against fake artists that cost Spotify almost nothing. Meanwhile, ghost tracks got premium placement without any fees or cuts. In 2024, while Spotify reported record profits exceeding $1 billion, they implemented a sneaky new policy. The 1,000 stream threshold eliminated payments to artists with fewer than 1,000 streams per track, instantly demonetizing 87% of all tracks on Spotify, over 175 million songs. The policy cut $47 million that would have gone to emerging musicians. Yet, ghost artists continued earning millions from artificially inflated stream counts, boosted well above the threshold by the same algorithms, suppressing real musicians. Spotify had weaponized their own payment system against the people who created their content. They designed rules that eliminated payments to real artists while ensuring their ghost content remained profitable. Every policy change, every algorithm tweak, every new fee structure worked in favor of fake content over human creativity. This was systematic financial engineering designed to transfer wealth from working musicians directly into Spotify's profit margins, using the very platform artists trusted to fairly distribute their life's work. The music industry's breaking point came when artists finally started fighting back, sacrificing millions in streaming revenue to take a stand against Spotify's deception. Neil Young fired the first major shot in 2022. The legendary musician discovered that Spotify was paying podcaster Joe Rogan over $100 million while simultaneously stealing from artists through ghost content and unfair royalty structures. Young made an impossible choice. He pulled his entire catalog from Spotify, walking away from what he called 60% of his worldwide streaming income. His ultimatum was simple. They can have Rogan or Young, not both. The rebellion gained momentum as more artists learned about the ghost artist scheme. Taylor Swift had led an earlier protest in 2014, removing her music due to inadequate compensation, though she eventually returned when Spotify made minimal changes. But 2025 marked a new phase of resistance. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard pulled their catalog, citing both the fake artist program and Daniel Ek's controversial investments in weapons technology. Deerhoof and Juju followed, choosing principles over profit. The most significant departure came from Massive Attack, who became the first major label act to leave the platform entirely. Their statement was damning. A moral and ethical burden has been placed on artists by a streaming platform that has grown exponentially in power and influence. These artists understood the financial sacrifice they were making. Leaving Spotify meant losing access to over 600 million users and foregoing substantial streaming income. Yet they chose integrity over money, sending a clear message about the platform's practices. The artist exodus exposed Spotify's vulnerability. Despite their market dominance, the platform needed legitimate artists to maintain credibility. When respected musicians publicly condemned their practices, it damaged Spotify's reputation and revealed the true cost of their ghost artist program. These rebellious artists proved that some things matter more than streaming revenue. Their willingness to sacrifice income for principles showed that Spotify's exploitation wouldn't go unchallenged, even when fighting back meant financial hardships. Even as artists fought back, they faced an impossible reality. Spotify had rigged the entire music discovery system against them, making resistance nearly futile. When users searched for ambient music, fake artists appeared first in results. When they explored jazz, artificial performers dominated the recommendations. Every pathway to discovery, new music had been corrupted to favor ghost content over authentic artistry. Spotify's playlist editors received clear directives to prioritize cheap, fake content over quality music for legitimate artists. The platform's recommendation algorithms were programmed to suppress real artists systematically, ensuring ghost tracks received the prime placement and maximum exposure. Real artists found themselves competing in a game where the rules constantly changed against them. No matter how good their music, how loyal their fans, or how hard they promoted their work, the platform's systems were designed to favor artificial alternatives. Spotify's market dominance made escape impossible. With over 600 million users and 31% market share, boycotting the platform meant sacrificing access to the majority of streaming listeners worldwide. Artists faced a tough choice: participate in a rigged system or lose their audience entirely. The corruption had infected entire genres. Electronic ambient music, background jazz, and focus soundtracks were particularly devastated, with ghost artists claiming the majority of streams in these categories. Real musicians watched helplessly as artificial performers optimized for algorithmic success rather than artistic merit took over their life's work. Even artists who achieved some success found their growth artificially limited. Spotify systems would promote their music just enough to maintain the illusion of fairness while ensuring ghost tracks received the most valuable placement. The platform had transformed from a music discovery service into a content manipulation machine, where finding authentic artists required fighting against algorithms designed to promote artificial alternatives. Today, Liz Pelly's investigation continues to expose this fraud, but the Ghost Artist program remains fully operational. Real musicians still compete against unlimited fake content, while Spotify reports record profits. We stand at a crossroads for the future of human creativity, where platforms prioritize profits over creators. They destroy the very thing they claim to celebrate. Music becomes a commodity manufactured by algorithms rather than an art form created by human experience and emotion. But this story isn't just about Spotify. It's about what happens when we let technology companies decide what culture gets heard and what gets buried. Every time we stream without questioning, every time we accept algorithmic recommendations without investigation, we participate in the systematic replacement of human artistry with artificial content. The choice is ours. We can continue letting streaming platforms feed us, manufactured music designed to maximize their profits, or we can actively seek out and support the real artists fighting to be heard above the algorithmic noise. Which streaming platform do you think treats artists most fairly? Let me know in the comments below. If you want more stories exposing big tech secrets, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. And if you think Spotify's ghost artist scheme is shocking, wait until you see what we discovered about YouTube's hidden manipulation of creator earnings. That video drops next week, and trust me, you won't believe how deep this rabbit hole goes.